Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Courtney with Scott Financial and Care. I am bringing to you all a new little mini series I want to call New Agent Tips. Okay, because at one point in time, obviously, I was a new agent, and I guess I'm still fairly new. I have about a year in doing this business, but along the way and in such a short a period of time, I've come across a lot of scenarios, a lot of situations, and I wanted to share some of those with you all who may be thinking about getting into this industry or who may already be in this industry, but you're not necessarily considered a seasoned agent just yet, right? And these tips obviously may help you. You may already know some of this stuff. You may not. I don't know. Um, but again, it's there to help own agents or something like that. Um, so yeah, let's get started. So if you are looking to start in this industry, um, one of the things that I would recommend you do is check with your resident state, your home state that you are a resident of, and go maybe Google their insurance commissioner website, and that'll tell you the requirements needed to get your life, accidental, and health. Some licensing are labeled as just life only and health only. So you may have to take two separate exams in order to get the license, right? If you go for your life only exam, that just means that you can only sell life insurance products and fixed and index annuity products, right? But you can't sell. You might not be able to sell accidental. You might not. And you can't sell obviously health insurance type of products as well. Okay. So check your state that you are a resident of website. Check the requirements. A lot of states do require that you take a pre-licensing course. Um, some of them, like I know here in Georgia, you have to have 20 hours worth of life and 20 hours worth of health um, learning in order and then once you complete it, you're supposed to get a certificate from that vendor who you are taking your pre-licensing course through, and in order to schedule and take the exam for the national exam. This is a national exam, so um, once you pass, you basically are able to sell insurance in any of the U.S. states. And what ends up happening is you will have to get what is called a non-resident license. Your home resident license allows you to be able to get non-resident license for other states in the country, right? And you won't have to take a test again because you've already done that. You've passed it with your resident state license. So you just only take that national exam. That national exam covers common information, obviously, excuse me, obviously about life insurance and health insurance and accidental. And then you may end up having a separate portion that covers your state specific information as well. So you'll have to study both information, but you won't have to do this again for any other states. All you have to do once you get your license, you can now apply for other U.S. license. I have multiple, so I don't know if I'm gonna get all 51 states, but I have a lot, so I'm able to not only sell life insurance in these other states, but let's say I have someone who wants to join my team and I'm in Georgia, but they live in New York, or they live in Cali, or they live in Florida, or um, wherever it may be in the U.S., they can join my team and it's no problem, right? Um, and if they obviously are selling insurance and everything like that, it works out that way as well. So um, you need to check if a pre-licensing course is required. Like I said, most states require it, but there are some states like I believe Texas that doesn't require a pre-licensing course. However, it would behoove you not to still go for a pre-licensing course. You still need to learn the information in order to even pass the exam. So just go ahead. You can, if your state is one of those states that does not require one, just buy a more up to date life accidental health book, maybe on Amazon or something. That, and this is not a sponsor or an endorsement by Amazon or anything like that. I like to shop on Amazon. But yeah, you can buy a book or something that covers the material. Make sure it's at least up to date. I would say something that's no more than 3 to 5 years old. And you can always check your state's website. But if you don't want to go that route and you want to make sure that you do have some up-to-date information, just go through a vendor, no matter who that vendor is. I do have a vendor that I do have a discount, that I can get you a discount with their course. I am not being paid to do this video by them, so I won't mention it in this video. But if you're interested in getting your license, just contact me. You can email me. My email address and phone number will be below. If you see me doing this or you see me looking over, I'm looking at my notes so I don't forget to cover some information. And like I said, this is going to be a little mini series. So what I don't cover in the first episode, or it'll gradually, information that'll be provided in the videos will be gradual. So this way that I can kind of cover some things, some scenarios that you might run into as a new agent, right? Because again, you are, and this will probably, and I'm skipping ahead here, but you are a independent contractor. This is your business. You're not an employee. You don't have to answer to no one or anything like that. But when you're stepping into a new industry like this, and although it is sales, this is not an MLM type of business. You are required to be licensed. This industry, the insurance industry, is regulated on a federal level. Okay, so anyway, you're an independent contractor. You're a business owner, so you run it how you want to run it. But it is nice when your mentor or your upline, like someone like me, can provide some type of direction for you, so you can kind of how to navigate and how to grow your business, right? So you can, and then I'll get into later videos about being an LLC and the benefits of that and what you can do with that. But yeah, you're an independent contractor, so training and finding the resources and information a lot of times is up to you. And if you're somebody who's looking for someone to constantly hold your hand, this business may not be for you. Entrepreneurship may not be for you. Okay? But it's nice when you can get some assistance along the way, right? But you have to be someone that you are a self-starter, that you can find the information somehow, some way, or how to reach out to whoever that may know the information. I don't mind providing the information. I'm not going to sit there and hold your hand the whole time and everything like that, because this is your business, right? I'm not going to run your business for you. You have to run your business. But my team, they know they can always reach out to me if they can't find it. I'm a part of a brokerage firm as well. Even though I have my own agency, I'm a part of a broker who allows, or not allows rather, excuse me, wrong choice of word. But basically they have access to like over 100 plus carriers. So that allows my team of people who are in my downline to be able to have access to hundreds of carriers to sell products. So you're not held to just one carrier and only their product, right? Which means that you have now more opportunity to keep a client and offer many products to them. If one product and pricing doesn't work, you have 50 others or 100 others that you can go through and find the perfect product for your client. Okay, so I'm going to get into that. Now, next, the next thing I want to cover is another requirement is to once you pass or your license and you apply for your application, you may need to get a fingerprint. You may need to get fingerprinting done. They're gonna do your background check. Period. So you have to get. You might have to get your fingerprints done. So you want to look up that information, right? You want to look up that information. I would not schedule until after you may have to schedule an appointment, especially during these times of the pandemic. So I would not schedule until after you've passed your exam. And then basically, once you get that taken care of, and please note that unfortunately you cannot have you cannot be a convicted felon. Okay, as far as misdemeanors, I'm not sure. You might be able to still get your license. As if you have any arrests but you have no convictions, you still can get your license. It just depends on what exactly the arrest was for or the misdemeanor was for. So again, before you jump into this, check with your state insurance website, call the customer service or email them, and ask them these questions, because you don't want to go and waste your money and time, and then you apply for the license and they tell you, I'm sorry, but we can't issue this license because you have a misdemeanor or arrest for this purpose. Especially if it was like for fraud. Obviously, if it was for fraud, they're not going to give you a license, period, because you're dealing with confidential information. You're dealing with private, sensitive information. You're going to be constantly, especially if you are working from home like me, you are going to be you're going to be receiving people's banking information, social security information, address, all that good stuff, right? So they have to trust that you're not going to steal this person's information or sell it. All right. So that's taken care of. Once that's taken care of and you're ready to proceed, and you schedule yourself for your pre-licensing course, a lot of these vendors have online availability, so you can do it at your own pace, or they might have a live online course, or they have video and reading that you can do. A lot of them have also where they have like test banks on their system where they'll question you after every chapter, and then you take like a chapter review exam once you complete it to test your knowledge. And also, in order to pass the national exam and the exam for your license, you need to pass with a 70% or higher. As far as the fee to pay for the exam here in Georgia, I don't know what it is in other states, but it was $63, and that was in 2019. So it may be different now, or it may be different for every state. Excuse me. Okay. So, I mean, it's like 1 p.m, but it's cold here, and I just needed a little warming up. Anyways, so you pay for the exam. What I recommend in doing is giving yourself 2 to 3 weeks to go through the material. Okay, 2 to 3 weeks to go through the material, and then if it takes you only 2 weeks to complete the material, spend that third week, or if it takes you 3 weeks, spend that third or fourth week in reviewing everything. Review maybe just do a review on if it gives you quizzes at the end of each chapter, or if it gives you a chapter exam, review the questions, review the answers, and everything like that. Usually some of these vendors, they give you like a final exam, so review that information, right? Because you want to make sure, again, even if you pass with an 80%, fine, but you need to be able to pass with a 70%. A trick that I learned in my first career. My first career is in information technology. I am, or I was a system administrator, a IT system administrator before I jumped into this business, right? So, um, one of the things that I learned when I was going for IT certifications um, was that, okay, if I know I needed 70% to pass, and I know in whatever the amount of questions, because sometimes it's 100 questions, sometimes it's 150 questions. I know that 70% of that, I need to pass at least 70% of those amount of questions. So I'll do the little math, and it'll tell me how many questions I can miss and still be able to pass. So that's how you can kind of figure that out, because sometimes you're not going to remember everything. Don't stress yourself out and thinking you have to remember everything, you know, about the information, right? You just need to know enough. You need to know 70% worth in order to pass. So study the information for the common information for the national exam. Study your state specific information as well, in order to pass. So you do that. Schedule your exam. I would say 30 to 45 days out from when you receive your when you receive your pre-licensing information. Schedule yourself out 30 to 45 days, because that puts the pressure on a little bit, and it causes you to not to procrastinate. It causes you, I believe, to be focused, and do what needs to be done so that you can have what you never had, and have what you always wanted. If you really want something, you'll do what needs to be done. You're not gonna BS around. You're not gonna just sit there and be content. You've done that for how many years now? Aren't you tired of just sitting around and you're not able to really fulfill all your dreams or anything like that? And I will let you know, this is not an overnight success type of business. Again, this is not an MLM. No shade to any MLM companies out there, but this is not one of them. You know, you're gonna have to put in some work. You're gonna have patience. No, you don't have to be blood, sweat, and tears, and no, you don't have to come from a struggling background to be successful. You can come from any background in the world and be successful. All right, and that's one thing that we need to understand, because I know sometimes we hear those success stories, and this is going a little off topic, but we hear those success stories where they're like, man, I had a rough background, or I didn't have this in my household, and I was and it's not to downplay those stories, no, but I think a lot of people, there are people out there, I know that at one point in time when I was younger, I thought I had to probably go through some type of struggle or something like that in order to be successful. And then I later realized, like, no, that's not the truth. I didn't grow up in a wealthy household, but I didn't grow up poor either. And I grew up in a single parent household. My mother raised me, and thank God she's an awesome mother. Shout out to my mom. But she's held a job down now for almost over 30 years. She's going to be retiring in a couple years, and I am not only doing this business just for me, but I'm doing it for her. I want my mother to be able to ask for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom has had a great life, don't get me wrong. Like, she's traveled and all that good stuff, but as a child, when you've had a great parent in your life, you want to take care of that parent. You want to make sure they're set, they're good, And sometimes our parents live through us. They live through us and want you to accomplish a lot of the things that they haven't accomplished or couldn't accomplish in their life, right? Okay, so moving on. Schedule your exam out at least 45 days out from when you receive the information, right? Don't allow yourself to procrastinate. Don't allow yourself to get off focus. If you wait, the longer you put it off, is the longer it's going to take you to complete what needs to be completed. All right. Now, once you've passed your exam, congratulations. You are now ready to make some money. You are now probably ready within 6 months to a year or less. You're ready to fire your boss if you are currently working a job. If you're not working a job, then it should be no reason why you don't have time to get to work on your business, right? Do what you need to done. And you're like, man, I don't really have the money right now. Find the money. Find way to get the money. Don't do anything illegal, but find the way to get the money. No more excuses. We're in 2021. No more excuses. You need to be prepared for opportunity. If you haven't watched my last video, go ahead and watch it after this video. Be prepared for opportunity. Okay. You need to be prepared for opportunity. You'll find a way. I'm sure there have been plenty of situations in your life where you had to find a way to get something done. You can do it in this situation. Okay? I know it may sound easier said than done, but it can be done. Just because something seems hard to do and not easy to do doesn't mean it cannot be done. Period. Right? It just might take a little time. It just might take a little thinking, but it can be done. Period. And I know I say period a lot, but period. Okay. So you passed the exam. Now, the next step I would recommend you do is looking up for E&O insurance. That's errors and omissions insurance, right? So what errors and omission insurance is a type of business insurance that protects for general liability, or like if as an insurance agent, there are companies out there that provide E&O insurance for newly insurance agents or even experienced agents out there, right? It should cover life, accidental health, and fixed and indexed annuities. If you want to sell variable products require you to have a series securities license. So that's a whole different license. I don't have my securities license because I'm not interested in selling variable products. That's just my preference. But if you choose to sell that, you will need to have a securities license in order to do so. And your E&O insurance should cover that. I recommend an amount of $1 million per claim and a $3 million aggregate. Okay, that's just for the company that I use for my E&O insurance. It's cheap for me. It covers that. It doesn't cover variable products, like I said, but it covers all the other stuff. And it's like $35 a month for this type of insurance. If I choose to add more coverage at a later point in time, I can do so. So that's what E&O insurance. You'll need this in order to get contracted with brokers, or broker firms, or and also insurance carriers. And as you go into your studies, you'll learn what these different terms are, as far as carrier, insured, the insurer, and broker. You'll learn the different topics of what those are, right? And so, let's see here. And excuse my dog if you hear him. I like I said, I work from home, so I do have a 65-pound dog here who likes to bark whenever he hears either other dogs barking outside or he hears cars passing outside. Anyway, so you are considered, like I said, an independent contractor. Which means that you're going to be doing business as whatever your name is, as an insurance agent. You can register an LLC and operate under that LLC if you so choose to. Okay, so you can do that. However, when you're contracting with carriers, I would recommend to just contract under your name and agent license. Because if you have an LLC, you may need to go ahead and get an agency license as well, which means that every state that you have a non-resident license in as well, you may have to also register your LLC or your agency license in every one of those states. And it becomes more expensive. So just save yourself the headache and contract under your agent license, under your name, and your non-resident license you don't have to, you just get the non-resident license in whatever states you want to sell insurance in, and that's it, right? I have an LLC, Scott Financial and Care, and I do have an agency license. But like I said, when I'm doing is when I get appointed is just basically contracted with carriers. I'm doing it under just my name. I use the LLC for advertising purposes or branding and marketing purposes. And when I want to create my own type of material, whether it's a business card or something to that effect, I can use my own name. I don't use my broker name or anything like that. The broker is just, they handle the back end of stuff. They are the ones that are I can get access to carriers through. That's it. I don't use any of their material. I don't use their name. Once I'm contracted with carriers, I don't even use the carriers' name or information on any of my advertisement marketing type of stuff. Okay? Because when I do my ads, I can just list like general information about it. And I don't have to put their name or anything like that, or the name of their particular product in my ads. When you do that, you do have to ask permission, and they may not like your design. They may not like your wording of how you put something. So some of them will provide some marketing material that you can use, and you can still get permission from them. You'll still probably need permission from them in order to use it. Okay, but I'll go into that probably in another video or so we won't go too deep into that. And so you're an independent contractor, so you will need a broker like myself to be able to get contracted with the different carriers that are out there in order to start selling. Because if you want to be directly contracted with these carriers, you're either going to be considered captive, or you need to have your own book of business. You need to have some proof of business, some type of financial backing that shows you're making money, or you have enough book of business that the dollar amount is good. Like they can see that, oh, this person's making money. Okay, we'll go ahead and let them directly contract or get appointed with us, possibly as a non-captive agency or agent. So it's good to kind of go through a brokerage firm like myself and the firm that I work with in order to be able to get contracted with these carriers, right? And so that you can build up your book of business, and you can maybe in the future, you can say, well, okay, I want to directly contract with these other carriers that's outside of this particular company. And so that's one of the things. And then again, like I said, the LLC is something that you can choose to do if you want to. And I'll go further into that probably in another video, like I said. So I mentioned the word captive and non-captive. The difference between that is with captive, you are only able to get contracted and sell that particular carrier's products. There are some broker firms that you would have to become captive through, and you can't contract with any other type of broker firm out there or carrier because you're under contract with them. You're stuck with them. Now, if you decide you no longer want to be captive and you want to break the contract, they might say, well, you can't become contracted with these carriers that we use, or you can't sell our products because for at least 6 months or a year. They might have some type of stipulation like that. They might have some type of requirement like that if you decide to part ways with them. It doesn't mean you can't become contracted with other people out there. It's just that you can't get reappointed under a new firm or carrier and try to sell their product, something like that. So I guess, and I hope I'm not confusing you, but if you're captive under broker or carrier A, right? And you can only sell their products. You can only get appointed if you're under a broker and you're captive. Sometimes that broker has multiple carriers, so you can only sell with who they are contracted with, and that's it, right? But you can't go and get contracted with agency or broker B and still be contracted with agency or broker or carrier or broker A, who's a captive company, right? So that's the difference. Now, non-captive means I can contract or get appointed with any broker or carrier I choose to. I don't have to stick to just one, and I prefer it that way only because it allows me an expanded territory. It allows me to be able to offer more than just one thing or more than just five little things to a client. Because what if those five carriers or that one carrier offer something that's either doesn't fit my client need, whether it's budget wise or whatever other needs that client has. I want to be able to have a variety of choices for this client, so you can be able to do the comparison that you're able to do the comparison basically for your client, so they don't have to do it. They don't have to get frustrated with it. You're that's what you're there for. You're there to find the perfect product for them, whether it's price wise or whatever other needs they may have, right? Especially if it's for retirement, you're there to find the perfect annuity product for them, and especially if they say, "Well, I only have $2,000 or $1,500 to start out with to purchase my annuity contract and to start out with." So you'll have different options available. You should have different options available, And the next thing I want to mention is before you get contracted with some type of carrier or broker firm, is the commission worth it? I've heard of some of these places that they're paying agents 30%, 60% commission, 30 to 60% commission. I'm doing all that work. Now, granted, you have access to these carriers because of them, or you have access to these products because of them. And some of these places, they don't provide you the leads. They don't provide you the leads for free or at all. So, especially if they're not providing you leads for free or they're not providing you leads at all, and they're wanting up to 60% of your commission, of your sale rather, nah. So, or no, excuse me, I worded that wrong. They're wanting to only pay you up to 60% commission. We pay up to 85% and higher. I've seen up to 110%. I've seen 140% commission. And you're also earning commission on renewals. It's not as high as the first year commission, but you still get up to at least, I think, 10 or 11 years. And really, it depends on the carrier, but you're getting commission on renewals. So that's, as long as your client is still around, and they're paying on time and they're paying every month, you're earning a commission, right? And so, and yes, there are such things as what we call as chargebacks. I'll go into that in another video. That's just, there are things like that where if for some reason a customer lapses or they cancel, and let's say it's within the first 4 or 6 months of their policy, the carrier may require a chargeback. Okay. So that's basically what I want to kind of cover. I know it went on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but if you're a new agent or you're looking to start in this industry, follow those steps that I've given. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out to me. I can be reached at 800-365-4299. You can also email me at C for Courtney .scott@scottfinancialcare.com. If you are already an agent, you already have your E&O insurance, you don't really like where maybe you don't like the broker firm or the carrier that you're working with right now, and you need a change of pace, or you want to work somewhere where there's or not work, shall I say, but you want to be contracted somewhere where there's a little bit more support and training, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to be able to sponsor you in. And that's basically it. And so, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'll probably be posting that maybe next week sometime. In that episode, I'll be covering purchasing leads, running your own ads on social platforms, especially like this one, like YouTube, creating a website, creating social platforms and profiles for your business, getting a separate number and email for your business, and just tapping into your warm market. Thank you and have a good day.